Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. I was just reading over some of the comments. Before I get into that, I will let you know that this is, a live stream for classic cars, Mustangs, Camaros, Firebirds, Mopars, whatever. And we try to, talk about that stuff, answer questions related to those vehicles. And, if I have a answer, great. If I don't, I have people in my chat over on the side that usually have a good answer. And I appreciate all of them that come in and help out. If you have a question, we give a good answer for it, you get a bell. Good comments, you get a bell, stuff like that. So I don't have anything for like failed answers. I guess I should come up with something that's like a type of thing, but at this point, that's what we do. And we have several in the queue already, 18 viewing. Awesome. And I will say Clark was here pretty early. Clark was here at 5:45, or 4:54. So he was a little early today, but I'm sure he's back. Chris Greenaway is checking in. John Van Horn says, good evening. Chris, put seat covers or legendary? I'm not sure. Legendary, is that like a brand for the seat covers? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with legendary, or PUI. Sorry, PUI seat covers or legendary. I don't have an answer for that. John Clark, better early than that late. Yes. Crash Rider. Hello, everyone. It is rumored, but not verified, that the 7th Dave to sign in tonight will win a Joe Daddy's Garage T-shirt or poster. If we have 7 Daves, that's a sign of the apocalypse. So I don't know if we can do that or not. Grease Rookie, Andrew checking in. Glad you're here, man. Chris, shirt was canceled due to weather. So, shift was canceled. Man, those words are small. Shift was canceled due to weather, so I'm here. Good. Well, I mean, I'm sure you'd probably rather, I would hope you'd rather be working. You're making some money. Dennis, hi gang, glad you're here. Dave, first Dave sighting. So we need to have that's one. You got Dave number 1, first Dave Bell. 64.5 staying. Shane's now in your garage. I'm glad you're here, Shane. Bob Shoemaker, Okie Bob is here. And Octagon Garage, some thumbs up. Thank you for that. Tony Garza. Tony from Houston. Hi there. Good. I'm glad you're here. Nice to see you here, Tony. I know we exchanged some emails earlier today. So, Robert, the Infernal Craftsman, checking in. Dave here. Nick Moss checking in. Leonard, evening all. How's it been? It's been pretty good. I think it's been pretty good. Rallycat Garage, Harvey. Hello, hello, hello. Glad you're here. Stang Boy. Hi, Barry. Hey, gang. And David Willis. That's Dave number 2. And Clark, Dave Clifford reporting for duty. David Willis. Hey, everybody. Hope you're all having a good evening. And Chris, why has Mercury become the most obscure car company? Hardly see any at shows. That's a good question. I don't know. I couldn't look at production numbers and be able to tell you how many of what other, how many Montegos or Monterey's or Comets they produced. But, part of that may be that because they're harder to find parts for, most people aren't willing to take them on. That has become a problem, I think, especially whenever nobody is remaking parts for these cars or certain cars. So we've talked about that before. You find one that's in great shape, and it's pretty rare, depending on what it is, of course. But speaking of, I saw, mentioning Mercury, I saw a car advertised on Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace today, and it was obscure. It was a oh my gosh, 80, early 80s, 1980 to 84 Mercury uh, Grand Marquis wagon. And the advertisement said the car had been parked, I think, since like 90 or 95. And it had just been sitting. It's like a barn find, because people were liking these wagons, but it was like a barn find. And they were showing pictures inside the car, and the interior looked perfect. It was all covered in dust on the outside, but it was kind of cool to see even that. You look at the time period, barn finds anymore, if you go back in time, it becomes more rare to find, the Camaro or the Mustang or the Mopar, Firebird, whatever, that has been sitting in somebody's garage and hasn't been scooped up. This was kind of odd, but it was also, I think, kind of cool. It had like the colors were weird. It was almost like I think it was blue, silver blue with red interior. And I maybe even had the wood grain on the side. It was really kind of a unique car. And the guy was selling it for like $1,800. So I think it would be a cool car for somebody, but whenever you think barn find, you don't think of a 1984 Mercury Grand Marquis wagon. It just doesn't come to your mind. Pedro, hello, Barry. I hope you and your family are well. Best wishes from Portugal. I'm glad you're here, Pedro. We are well, and I thank you for that. I hope your family is doing well as well. Stang Boy, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, everyone. Yes, by all means. Richard checking in. Glad you're here. Big Red 67 living the dream with a mask on. Yeah, I'll bet. Jack W checking in. Leonard, they make great beach cruisers. Yeah, that Grand Marquis, yeah, it would be a great beach cruiser. Chris, same with my Formula. Good luck finding a replacement hood. Yeah, and that's my point. These rare vehicles, well, it's great, but they're being rare doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to enjoy it. There's times where you can't find parts. I think, like, Len Ekema, who was on here before with his, what was it? Caliente, I think. Cyclone. His Cyclone, trying to find any kind of parts for that was really difficult. And we have Denny Alvey checking in from Paducah, Kentucky. I wonder how far is Paducah from Fort Knox or Elizabethtown? Just curious. Gotta have some coffee. All right. Well, I was going to talk about a few things today. Things are looking good, progress-wise, in the shop. I don't know if you can see very well. I got the emblems mounted on both fenders now. And I may have pointed out that I think I did somewhere, the passenger side fender, it had the original holes, but somebody had made them large. I mean, like 3/16 or better, for the pony emblem. And I was going to try to get away with that, see if I couldn't find a fastener for the backside. But the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't make myself do it. So I welded shut all the holes for the pony emblem, and I re-drilled those. And of course, the Mustang emblem fit fine. And then I did the same thing on the passenger fender, which is the one that I had put that patch in. So I was able to, use the driver's or the passenger fender for a reference to the driver's fender. The difficulty with that, and I've talked about it before, is the script. So you have, the pony in the 289 emblem, and then you have the script coming in, like the tail of the pony is hanging out, whatever. And then you have the script. So if you read it one way, the tail of the G on Mustang is real long and appears in a certain location. Well, if you flip that around, because the emblem is now going the other way, you put the Mustang behind it, now you got to figure out where that M goes. So I was researching that a little bit, and I have some picture references on the video that I made for that. And it was weird because I found 3 different pictures of a 68 Mustang, and the emblems were in 3 different locations. And I found one where the guy he was redoing his original fastback or whatever, and he took the he had laid out a pattern and taken pictures of it before he started, and so I used his reference point to kind of eyeball where I wanted the emblem to be, or the Mustang to be, on the driver's side. I think it looks good. It might be off a little bit, but I think it looks good. Robert, for obscure and a car that shouldn't have existed, the Chrysler TC. The Chrysler TC. Refresh me on that one. Chrysler TC. My mind is saying Town and Country. So is that what you're referring to, the Chrysler Town and Country? Or is there another something? Chrysler TC. Not sure what that one is. Fast and Furious, hello from crappy Ohio. I can't argue that. I can't. Big Red 67, can we discuss welding technique for dissimilar metal thickness? Thinking of some frayed connectors to frame rails. Well, when you have dissimilar metal thickness, the challenge, of course, is which one do you rate the heat to, right? If you try to go towards the thinner metal with a lower heat setting, you don't fully penetrate the heavy metal. And if you go to the heavy metal, you can run the risk of burning in the lighter gauge metal. By default, I mean, I would probably go towards the heavy metal anyway, and then focus my rod point more on the heavy piece, so that the bulk of the heat goes to that heavy piece, and then the puddle works its way onto the lighter piece. Now you can make a couple passes if you need to, or you could do it in stitches, to where you do it in segments and put it together. But that's typical how I approach that. Is I would go put the heat, try to get it on that thicker piece, and work my way across. So hope that helps. Anybody else have an opinion? Please share it. Chris, I would love a Challenger TA, but that 60 grand entry fee, no thank you. I'll stick to one of your collection of Ford and Mercs. A lot of people ignore the other Ford family products when looking. That is true. I always say looking in a junkyard, except Mustang. Yeah. Robert, the TC was a LeBaron with a Maserati engine. I don't know if I've seen, well, I may have seen one, but I don't remember the name of it or anything like that. That sounds different. Nick, aim in toward the thicker metal and drag the weld pole to the thinner metal. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for that. Dave Conville, Chrysler TC was a roadster-bodied Maserati, early 90s, maybe. No, that sounds different. Ish, 419, Barry, so no one sells a template to install the emblems? Oh, I don't know. They might. I don't know. I usually, I guess in my mind, whenever I start doing these things, if I have some sort of reference point, that's enough for me to get started. So like whenever I did the emblems on the 65 Mustang years ago on the Mystique, I actually found another Mustang that had the emblems on it, and I made my own pattern to put it together. Now this car, I had a basic pattern already there on the passenger fender, and I was able to just use that as a reference. Now, when I did make a video on this, and I'm going to probably put that one out maybe Wednesday, and that'll be a regular video. That's not. I'm not going to post it to Patreon. It'll be a regular YouTube video. But yeah, and in that I show ways and techniques you can find locations, measuring and kind of finding your way to that happy spot where things line up. So hopefully I can get that out soon. Chris Pinto, I win. And Robert has shared a link, but I don't know that anybody can click on that. So anyway, they might be able to copy it though. Might be able to copy it. Dave, Infernal. Do I have the TC thing backwards? Oh, Roadster body by Maserati. I don't know. Sounds like a nightmare to me. Big Red. Thanks, Mr. Moss. Paducah is 3.5 hours west of Fort Knox. Okay. I was just curious. I have family that lives in E-Town. So, Chris, seen one drop an engine while driving into a junkyard as a kid. You're talking about that Maserati thing? That sounds bad. The TC was a mess of a joint project. Yeah, sounds like it. Nick, no problem, Big Red. If I had my uncle here to hold the camera for me, I would get on and give you a small tutorial on what to do. Yeah, that would be nice. Chris, if Barry had to have one Mopar, what would it be? And one Mercury? One Mopar? Man, that's a tough question. Because I had a 67 Plymouth Belvedere. So I have an affection for those cars. It was a GTX clone. I talked about it before. I have an affection for those cars. I like the big, basically wedge. It's big rectangular body driving down the road. But there's Super B. I like Super Bs. There's but it's just really tough to just point at one and say that would be the one. As far as a Mopar. But I really like the 67 Belvederes. So maybe that would be in my ballpark. And then one Mercury. That's another tough question. Because it just doesn't pop into my mind whenever I think Mercury. What would be something I'm lusting after? Really can't. I mean, I like the Comets. I really do. I think they're cool cars. And of course, there's hot rod versions of those out there. So probably something along those lines, I guess. We have our third Dave sighting. Winged Warriors checking in. So we're up to 3 Daves. Dave Conville, I always compared TC to the Cadillac Alante, another colossal mess. Yeah, that sounds okay. Now I'm getting what you're saying. It's funny. I think we talked about this before. The Chrysler made the Prowler. It was based. It looked like a little old 30s vehicle, 2-seater, and I guess those are becoming more and more valuable. Because I don't know what the production numbers were on those, but everything I read about them in the early time period was they were, they didn't have a lot of power, they didn't handle very well. There was more just a car to look at and drive around, around town. Wasn't something you could really the hot rod in. But I saw one driving down the road the other day, and they have a look to them. It's different. But when I see that Prowler, I don't know why, but I see mostly like a PT Cruiser. You know what I mean? I look at that body, and it has the big fat bumpers on it and stuff. And if you kind of look at it, it could be a PT Cruiser in effect, the way the shape of the body is. So, they're okay looking. But again, they're starting to bring dumb money. And I saw one on, what was it? It was one of the car shows that was on, and maybe it was Count's Customs. I think it was Count's Customs. And he had one of his buddies on there who showed up in a Prowler. And they were debating on whether it was one that they had actually owned together at one time. They thought it may have been the same car, but it turns out it wasn't. But it only had like 4,000 miles on it or something. Ridiculously low mileage, and the guy bought it and turned around and sold it and made like 8 or 10 grand off of it, which is, I mean, he sold it for like $50,000 or something. So who knows? Who knows what the market will bear on future cars? Chris, to me, the perfect Mopar is the E-Body's AAR CUDA and Challenger TA. Also, a thing for 71 Duster 340. Yeah, I mean, I get that. The CUDA and the Challenger were the best looking Camaro that Dodge ever made. Because really, that's what to me, that's what it comes down to. They took basically the design of the Camaro and copied it, and I don't blame them. But that's basically what it was. And the 71 Duster 340, yeah, that's a cool car. That's a cool car. Robert, can't drive a Prowler. The top of the windshield is right in front of my face. If you're between 5 and 6'5" tall, you can't ride this ride. I've never sat in one. I mean, I've looked at them. They just, they don't do much for me. Ish, as a kid, I liked the Cougar XR7. Those are extinct. Yeah, I mean, you can still find the Cougars. You can still, find the old ones, but yeah, they long ago quit making that stuff. Chris, to me, Ford Mercury had the best design, swoopy fenders, fastbacks. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the car. I do like the fastback stuff, and but also, I mean, I'm a car guy, so I like the Camaros. I do like the Kudos. I like Firebirds. There's I just can't put myself in one box with one car and say I only like this one, just one brand or whatever. Rick Stevenson checking in. Glad you're here. All right, so I think we have 3 days. We're only up to 3 days right now, so we're still good. But earlier today, I did some more work on the panels. I got the valance panels, front and rear, sanded out, ready to go. I did find some low spots. I addressed those. I've started to do some work on the body in the paint booth, and like I went and resealed the gutters, the rain gutters, stuff like that. Found a few areas where the trim would not fit the car correctly, and I've talked about this before. Before I want to really paint something, I want to make sure the trim fits the car. I want to make sure all the stuff is going to fit before it has shiny stuff on it, shiny paint. So as I mocked up the trim around the back glass, there was actually a gap. So if you could, there was a little bit of a gap up in the corner, and I just took a little body filler and shaped that because I want those pieces to fit good. So I'm addressing those sort of things. But the valance panels, the rock guard, and the quarter extensions are ready to go. I still have to sand out the headlight extensions, but I don't think there'll be any issues there because those fit really well. And then, block sand the body and get it ready for the second round of high build. And I think things are looking much, much better. Again, it's these little things that you can check off. It's like I was dreading drilling the holes in that fender because, well, once you drill them, either they're right or you start over. But things are looking better in that respect. Richard Byrne, I have had 3 Mopars: 68 Charger RT Hemi, 69 Charger RT 440, and a 70 Challenger RT Hemi. Man, yeah, you've had some good stuff there. That's nice. Okay, so Fast and Furious. I have a 69 Charger turned into General Lee. Now I wanted to paint it plum crazy. Tired of the flack over the flag. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's, our cancel culture is canceling everything. And not to really make that any worse, but I read the other day or heard the other day that they're going to what are they doing? Mr. Potato Head will no longer be Mr. Potato Head, I guess. I don't know. Never mind. Grease Rookie, is it possible to watch Vanishing Point and not have a 70 Challenger on your bucket list? That's a good point. But I know you probably already know the trivial fact that at the very end of the movie, the car that crashed into the dozer was a Camaro. If you don't know that, and in fact, if you watch the movie and you go slow it down at the end, when they walk the camera around, and I think you can actually, the deck lid is up or something is up, and it says Camaro right on it. They didn't really take do careful editing back then, let's say. But yeah, it was a Camaro that smashed into that dozer. I would like to have, Robert says, I would like to have 40s to 50s truck to make a cool cruiser out of. Yeah. Richard, the Charger RT and the Challenger RT are bringing crazy money. Yeah, it seems like they always have, though. There's a market, for Chevys and Fords and Chryslers, and sometimes there's some crossover there, but the Mopar stuff seems to be bringing the biggest money. Aside from like a true Yenko Camaro or ZL1 or all the special edition stuff that they did, but yeah, the Mopar stuff brings crazy money. Chris, fast painted plum crazy white tail stripe, white vinyl top and interior, and you'll get all the looks. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that would turn some heads. Robert, hello Barry and everyone. Love from Detroit. Glad you're here. Oh, there we go. And Dave, had the opportunity to drive a Prowler years ago. This one had a prototype bank supercharger on the V6. It made a fun car to drive, especially with the Chrysler auto stick trans. Interesting. Robert, Christy, not fond of car hoarders. These cars need to be seen, in my opinion. Yeah. Let's see. Let me skip ahead a little bit there. Side conversations. Robert, how about Barbie? Dang crazy people. Yeah. Robert, I want one classic for every day of the week. Yeah. Ish, I have a Mopar 1946 DeSoto. Does that count? Yeah, sure. Just put some Mopar badging on it, paint it plum crazy, and drop a 340 in it. Nick, if I had unlimited time and money, I would buy a lead sled. So many dang cars I would love to have. Old and new. The spirit is willing, but the checkbook is thin and mothy. Bad Harry checking in. Better late than never. Yeah, glad you're here. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I have psychological issues with cars, but growing up at a junkyard and being around all those cars that we're talking about, and then seeing them either get crushed or rust away, I think part of me, and I always have to deal with this, part of me wants every car made. I mean, I would love to have another junkyard with all kinds of cars in it, but that'll never happen. But if I could have, every version of the Mustang, every version of the Galaxy 500, every version of the Impala, every version of whatever, Plymouths and all those things, because we had them all. They were all there. And so I have a hard time. I've talked about this before. I have a hard time parting with things. I don't know if I just have that weird connection. It's like, I remember this as a kid. I need to hang on to this, or whatever. Or I never got one of these, and so that's the hard part about having grown up in a junkyard. Robert, anyone remember the heavy Chevy? Yeah, that was a Chevelle, wasn't it? Wasn't that a Chevelle? Like a 70, what? I don't know if it was a 71 or not. I think maybe it was later than that. 73, 74? You have to remind me. Chris, I believe Mopar ads are the reason of the crazy money back in the day. The ads, Dodge Mature always got me. But Mopar had the best promos, the Scat Pack, etc. to their competition. Yeah. Okay, Robert, don't worry. Robert Clemmer. Barry Leno? Yeah. Well, I've said it before. If I could, I'd go work for Jay Leno. I would love to work for Jay Leno. I mean, who wouldn't? In my opinion, he's a true car guy. He's not one that just has money and buys these cars. He works on them. He drives them. He enjoys them. He's, if I could, I would go work for Jay Leno in a heartbeat. Bad Harry, whenever I get a chance to walk through a junkyard, I take it. Yeah. Yep. Robert Clymer. Yep. Chevelle. Dave, I have the same disease, Barry. Not easy to manage. Yeah. Well, maybe we should get together, start a junkyard somewhere. Robert Clymer, 7172. Yeah, the heavy Chevy, I'm not exactly sure now. I know it was a Chevelle, but I don't know the time or, the year model. Kudulev, hard to find time to enjoy my one classic. Yeah. Well, I get that. And I've been, that's why I've said I've sold the 65 because it's nice to have, but what am I going to do with it? I could finish it, get attached to it, not want to sell it. I'm further ahead if I just pass it on, get it out of my hands, so I don't have to think about it. And even like I've said, the 68, I don't have plans to sell it at this point, but it's crossed my mind, and maybe it's something I have to do. I don't know yet. I might get it done and decide, well, it's time for something else. I've had this car a long time, but I know that it'll bring some money. Obviously it'll be a really nice car. So who knows? I keep looking on like the marketplace and trying to see what's out there, because if I can find another Mustang at the right price, I may just buy it and set it aside. I don't know yet. I'm gonna upload or download, I should say, a picture that was sent to me by. Let me see. I think it was sent to me by John. Yeah. So John sent me this picture. This is the '89 Chrysler TC. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, man. What a beaut. And so it was basically, I'm guessing, a LeBaron. I'm guessing. It looks like the LeBaron body. But that's the one we said had a Maserati engine in it. Those are probably pretty rare right now. I doubt there's any of those on the road at all, because they probably didn't make very many. And the people that had them probably realized they were junk and got rid of them. That would be my guess. Let's see. Rick, a buddy in high school had a 1971 heavy Chevy. Yes, based on a Chevelle. Okay, so 71. Now, I don't know if they made it in multiple years, but I do know I remember seeing it on the quarter panel. It said heavy Chevy on it. Chris, Jay has wasted tons of money in vehicles no one will want, like Duesenbergs. I think you're mistaken. There are people out there ready to buy Jay Leno's Duesenbergs. I guarantee that. Those cars will always have value. Always, always, always. And, he does have some eccentric taste. He's got steam-powered cars. He's got old electric stuff. He's got all kinds of cool vehicles. And I kind of wish that Jay Leno had a kind of a museum that you could go to. I would love to go walk through that place and just see what he has. He's got his TV show or YouTube shows, whatever. But yeah, people always want those Duesenbergs. Those will bring money forever. Those are amazing cars. Nick, a junkyard AA type thing. My name is Nick, and I like the big metal bumpers. I'm so ashamed. Yeah, I get you. Robert, that is nice. Yeah, talking about the Chrysler TC. So I don't know. I got 2 emails on that. Says 1989 TC used a slightly detuned 160 base horsepower Daytona spec Chrysler turbocharged 2.2 straight 4. Wow. Straight 4-cylinder turbocharged. That's a muscle car right there. That's nothing but muscle waiting to tear you down. Nick, I don't know. I'd eat a live frog to own Jay's collection. Deuce and all. Deuce and all. A live frog? I don't know. Nick, for what he has, I would give up your left arm for that. Just saying. I would give up your left arm in a heartbeat. Take it. Yeah, it's amazing what he has. It's amazing. 64, I tried to send a pic of my Mustang before I started working on it. Hope it came through. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let me pull that down. I'll pull that up here in just a second. I'm getting other pictures coming in, so I have to kind of weed through stuff. So this is Shane's. Let me see. Come on. Get through here. It's coming. There it is. So there's Shane's Mustang. 65. What is it? D code? D code. What is a D code? I don't know what a D code is. I mean, a T code is a 6-cylinder. I know that. I don't know what a D code is. Is that diesel? Yeah, I mean that's pretty typical. Pretty typical how they all tend to look these days. Let me see here. Rick, has the stray pony gone to Texas yet? Not yet. Not yet. Probably within the next few weeks. I'm trying to figure out the best weekend. Think that I'm going to get my neighbor buddy Roger to go with me, make it a road trip. And so I would say within the next few weeks. Just want to make sure the weather's good. I make it a good trip. Chris, I like his Challenger RT. Yeah, he's got some cool stuff. Robert, the Auburn, Duesenberg, and Cord Museum is pretty cool. These cars bring massive prices due to their rarity, and they were cool, big cars. Yes, I agree with that. I'm going to look and see whatever. I have some other pictures here. Oh, wow. Yeah, I got to download these. Okay, so Harry has sent me pictures of his fastback. So I'm obligated because these are cool. Give it a second to get these in place. Just get little gears turn, You got to wait. And I have some other pictures, I think, that Chris sent me. So let me get this one. And so these are the pictures that Harry has sent me. Let me see here. Pull this off. So there's a shot of it on the ground. There's a side shot. That looks really good, man. That looks really good. I like it a lot. Yeah. Nice work. Well done. Well done. Okay, let me see what Chris has sent me. So I got okay, so he sent me some pictures of some Mopars. I'll download these quick too. And then we'll get those up on the stream. I need some background music or something, right? Whenever I'm sitting here trying to get this stuff moving. Maybe I need some what the dun 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 dun. Okay, these are his perfect Mopars, he says. So that's a TA 340. Yeah, that's a cool car. And that's a cool car. Like I said, it's basically Dodge's version of the Camaro. But that's okay. I mean, they made sense to do a similar design. Why not? Let's see. Okay. Bad Harry, my friend bought 71 Chevrolet SS Big Block 4-speed with cowl induction. Now has about 60,000 miles. Bought new. He is the original owner. Wow. That's pretty cool. Speaking of which, I have a friend. When I went to school back in Pennsylvania, A&P school, I rode with another student. I picked him up on the way, and I was at his place one day, and he was like, "Hey, you want to go for a ride? My dad's Chevelle." I'm like, "Sure." Well, we go into his garage, and I think what it was, his mom and dad had gotten divorced, and the mom took possession of the Chevelle, and that became his Chevelle. And I think it had literally like 12,000 miles on it or something. It was ridiculous. Charcoal gray, big block, 4-speed. And, he takes the cover off of it, fires it up, and we go out and around the block doing burnouts. So that was a fond memory. I imagine he still has that car. Robert, the stray pony wouldn't fit on my trailer, and if it did, it would have fallen off driving through the ice on the way home. Yeah. You do it, Nick? You give up your left arm? I would too. It's pretty useless. That's the funny part. Sometimes, whoever you are, if you're right or left-handed, do you ever look at your left hand and go, "What's wrong with you?" Sometimes I'm doing a job, and my right hand is just like an assistant. Just give me that tool. Okay, give it here. Thank you. And then you put your left hand. It's like can't hardly use it. It's just a helper hand at that point. Let's see. Chris saying, Robert, I agree. To me, the average person in this hobby would flip him to afford every car from 69 to 70. Yeah. That's more than likely, yeah. Pedro, a 69 Mach 1 is in bad shape, being sold around my area. They're asking $14,000. Should I get it and restore it? How much are these cars going for once restored? So you're saying it's in bad shape, and they're asking $14,000. It depends on the car, depends on the code, depends on whether it has a good title. There's lots of variables with those cars. So, you can get if it's a Mach 1, that's a good thing because you also have a sport roof, which is your plain version of the fastback or Mach 1. So, big block car is going to bring more money. A 4-speed car is going to bring more money, but it has to be correct. So if you bought it and modified it to that, it's going to increase the value some, but it's not going to be as valuable, let's say, as an original version of it. 14,000 might be kind of high. I've seen cars here in the States. I know where there's one. All the sheet metal work is done on it right now. I think it even has an engine and tranny, and they're trying to sell it for like $12,500. And it's looks like it's a couple weeks away from paint. So 14 might be a little high, but it depends on what the car is too. What options it came with. Uh, yeah, Robert saying flip and upgrade. Okay. Oh, Jose Garza saying D code is a 64.5 A code, I believe. That may be. I don't know. Okay, so Pedro says it's a 351. All right. Winged Warrior. So the real question is, how many Moss cars can we get if we just give him both arms and both legs? I think 4 is reasonable as long as they're 65 to 72 muscle cars. No return policy needed. I don't think Nick would agree to that. Bad Harry, thanks for showing the pics. Yes, you're welcome. 64.5 D-code Mustangs, an early 2-9 version is my understanding. Okay. Yep. Nick says, looking good, Harry. I agree with that. Robert says, hoping it was a 429. I'm talking about the Mach 1. Dennis, back to the Prowler. If they would have just put a big 8 or the 426 Hemi, I'm sure they would have sold thousands of them. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what they were, thinking with that. I mean, it doesn't really do much for me. Let's put it that way. Guido is here. Glad you're here. Robert, hi all. Glad you're here. Bob Shoemaker. I had a Federal Mogul factory rep come by the store one day, and he was friends with Jay Leno and offered a tour to me if I was ever in his area. Oh, well, let's go. Let's go. I'll join you. By all means. Guido, kids, family life. Yep, I understand that. Andrew, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Exactly. By all means. Robert, I lost a Harley Sportster and a C5 Coronet B-body post-car model 440. I still cry about that. You lost? How do you lose that? That doesn't sound very positive. Although I will say, my brother shared some pictures with me a couple weeks ago that he had I don't know what his Harley was, but it was in his buddy's shop getting work done to it, and the shop burned to the ground. So his Harley's gone, and he's going to end up with another one. I guess the guy had another one he's going to give him in place of it, but, one of those things. Oh, so Robert says in a divorce. Okay. So you lost it in a divorce. I get you. Yeah. Funny how that works. Dave, a guy in high school, had a 72 heavy Chevy, wasn't able to do burnouts, but he could pump the gas and get the front end to bounce an inch and a half off the ground. Not the performance of a real muscle car, in my opinion. Yeah. The bouncy heavy Chevy. Yeah. Let's see. I have BALG 327. I'm working on my floors on my Mustang, and let's see. I'm all into it, and my buddy calls me and said he found a 58 Power Wagon for sale, and the guy wants to do a fast sale. I don't know anything about Power Wagons. Well, 58 Power Wagon, that's going to be a beast. Honestly, that's going to be a beast of a truck. Now, whether it's worth it, I don't know. If anybody has any input on that, by all means, let him know. But a 58 Power Wagon, that's going to be a beast. Robert, when looking at buying a car, if it doesn't have a title, don't pay any more than what you can part it out and sell it for. Yeah, that makes sense. It also depends on the state. Of course, I read an article the other day, and I don't know if anybody has tried this or not, and I believe they call it the Vermont loophole or something. I think it's Vermont. The deal is, if you submit paperwork to Vermont as a bill of sale, legit bill of sale, and you send it to Vermont and you pay the fee, Vermont will issue you a title. I did not know this. I don't know if it actually works or not, but the article that I read was pretty recent, and they said it worked. They tried it, and they got a title. So if you can look it up, I think it's called the Vermont loophole or something. The way it works is they don't care anything more than having that bill of sale. you know. And if you, like I said, you send it to them with the fee, and they will send you a Vermont title in your name, and then you can take that title and transfer it to your state, from what I understand. So you may want to look that up if you're interested as well. I forgot to mention that previously. Pedro, good advice. Thanks. Yes. Dennis, if the Prowler would have come out with oh, yeah, I said that earlier. But they would have sold thousands of them on the V8. Yep. Robert, what do you call a guy with no arms or legs in a swimming pool? Well, if I just traded his arms and legs for Jay Leno's collection, I would call him Nick. Bad Harry, I have, if you guys trying to buy my 6.7 Fastback, but I won't give them a price, I'm afraid they might buy it. Well, see what they'll offer you for it, and then I'll see what I can do to build one. I mean, seriously. Nick says, I don't want to look like a potato. Yeah. Robert says, divorce. Yeah. Yeah. Leonard, thumbs up. Yes, thank you, by all means. Ty Bernady? Is that Bernady? All right. These words are so small on the side. Let me tell you. Let me try that. Ty Bernardi. I'm guessing that's Bernardi. I haven't seen that name before. What's your opinion on a 69 Charger? Cool car. I mean, Dukes of Hazzard. Come on. What is it? Gone? Not, what's the other one? Whatever it was, where they had the Vin Diesel series, whatever. I don't remember what those movies were called. So they had a 69 Charger in there. Pretty cool. I like them. What do you call a guy with no arms and legs in a pothole? Phil. Yes. Robert. Yeah, she got the gold. I got the shaft. Yeah. Chris Greenaway. It's easy to find projects if you're only looking for some specific models. Yes, good point. Leonard, does the Power Wagon have a flathead in it? That's a good point. Good question. Harold had a 68 Shelby GT 500. What was the horsepower? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the horsepower was on a GT 500. I'm sure somebody does, though. Somebody knows. Sounds like something Leonard would know. Nice to know that. Thanks, Barry. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for the title thing. Yeah. LOL. Marshall's here. You know why divorces cost so much? They're worth it. Yeah, I can't afford one. I wouldn't go there. No interest in it. I'm going to keep the one I have. Denny, decode 64.5, 289, keep a inch with a four-barrel carb. Okay. Well, that's pretty good, though. With a 4-barrel, that's pretty good. Decode is a 5-bolt bell housing, 289, isn't it? That could be. We talked about the 5-bolt hole bell housing before. Ben, I learned so much here. Good. Jose Garza, have you seen Peterson restoration videos on YouTube? He does good work saving on fastback Mustang. Yes, I have seen his several of his videos. Looks like he does a good job. Greaser Care researched the Vermont loophole. I've heard the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I looked it up, so might be worth doing that. 64.5 saying, yes, Nick, that's what mine has. Okay. You know what? Here's an observation for you, too. If you want a spare engine, the Infernal Craftsman, Robert, 64.5 for 5 bolts and need one. I have a rebuilt short block that comes with heads and extras for a very fair price. So keep that in mind, 64.5. Robert has a 5-bolt block if you need it. So Winged Warrior, yeah, yep, the early 229s with the 5 versus 6 bolts. Robert, cheaper to keep her. Yep. And Ty, my uncle has a 66 Coronet, and he's restoring it now. That's cool. Ben, thank you, man. Super stickers are awesome. Thank you. Uh, 327. Yes, the Power Wagon has a flathead in it, and it looks like it's all there. You say not, I guess not much rust at all. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's a beastly truck. Going to be pretty slow, but beastly. Chris, Barry and Vintage Year, do you have to upgrade alternator, etc.? No. Nope. The kit that I have in Jade in the 68, all that, well, I didn't have to, the alternator's on the opposite side, so we didn't have to deal with that. I did have to modify the brackets that came with it because it was an AC car, and when I ordered the kit, I ordered it for, how did I do that? I ordered my Vintage Year kit for an AC version of it, and then I also added in the power steering bracket because I was adding on power steering. So I made videos on that where I had to modify the bracket setup to make everything work together. It wasn't, an issue on their part. Let's say it was the fact that the kit that I uses a different power steering pump than maybe what would have come on the car. So I just kind of had to modify some things. Let's see. Ty, I'm learning. Good. Whoops, Bad Harry. I sent you a picture of what my fastback looked like last fall. Came with, let's see. I've got some confusing words there. Came with a ownership, even though no numbers to matching. I have this in my name, all legit and registered in my name. Okay. Okay. So let me download that quick. And then I had another. Okay. let me pull this up. So let me get the image from Harry. And this is what his fastback looked like last fall. Come on, there it is. So a roof. No numbers to matching. I have this in my name, all legit and registered in my name. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Not much there. And then I have another picture that Robert sent me. And this is kind of surprising, I guess. That he says they were asking for this car a couple years ago, asking $25,000. Could you imagine that? A burned up Chevelle for $25,000. I mean, it's either 68 or 69 from the looks of it, but still, 25,000. I mean, it kind of looks like maybe a light burn. I say light because the padding is still in the seats. It looks like it just, but still, 25,000. People are crazy. People are crazy. Robert, the coil on a compressor only pulls about 2 amps, and the fan pulls less than the stock HVAC blower motor. Talking about the Vintage Air setup. All right, where are we at here? And then we have Denny, sorry. Broadway Title Company, Alabama does the same title for a fee. Interesting. Broadway Title Company in Alabama. We might have to look up them. I have not gone very far into it because at this point I live in Georgia. We can have a bill of sale. They don't care. But if I'm going to sell it out of state, then they want a title, and that makes it more difficult. So trying to make sure it works for everybody involved. Looks like, I don't know if my chats have dried up or not. But anyway, so the plan, as I was saying before, Wait, 64 and a half. Shane, I got a title for a non-title motorcycle from Vermont, and I live in Pittsburgh, PA, which is 2 doors down from. Okay. Okay. So you did that. You actually did the title deal in Vermont, is what you're saying? That sounds reasonable. I mean, if it works, it works. Dave, anybody remember where I put my engine leveler? I sure as I can't. I spend more time looking for tools. I've got one right here. Sit on the floor. You're talking about for putting it in, dropping it in? I've got one right here. You can come get it if you want to use it. Chris, how does a salvage title work? It doesn't. Salvage title, even if you get a car, you buy a car that's wrecked and you rebuild it, it's always going to say salvage title on the paperwork. There's no way around that. So that can be difficult. Here's the thing, like in the collision industry, we had a body shop. If you did brought in a car and it was a 2010, and the year was 2010, and the car was worth $30,000 and it had $15,000 worth of damage done to it. Well, the insurance company would they might go ahead and pay for it and get it fixed. And you end up with a clear title and you've done all this work to it. You cut it in half, put it back together, whatever. But then if the car 3 years later was only worth $20,000 and it had the same amount of damage done to it, then you were to they would total it. And you could put it back together and you'd still put all that money into it, get it back into shape. But because the value is lower, they're just going to let it be a salvage title. That's where it gets kind of weird. And the stigma with a salvage title sticks with it. People read that and they go, oh, must have been, something really bad done to this car, when really it's about the value of the car made it less valuable to fix, but somebody fixed it anyway. Hope that makes sense. So, Nick, besides the can opener method, do you have any other way for pulling the drip rail trim off without wrecking it? I cannot find one of those dang openers. Nick, I have a video on this. Did you not look at my video? I actually have a video on how to do that with a paint stick. Did you Google that? Did you search my videos? Basically, you can use a paint stick. I would rather use a paint stick than a bottle opener, a can opener, whatever. Easy way to do it, no damage, and it works. So I have a video on that. 64P has the most strict title rules. They suck. Yeah. Yep. Fast and Furious, this hobby is getting very expensive. Yep. Ty, I'm wanting to get a Subaru Impreza WRX. That's a cool little car. I got no problem with that. Pradkins, 2015 Nissan Pathfinder Platinum. It's hard times. Wait. 2015 Nissan Pathfinder Platinum. What are you saying? It's hard times aren't in the cold weather. I'm not sure what you're asking. Robert, amen on the tools, they walk off. Caden, yeah, well, I mean, these are reading glasses. That's all they are. But it helps me see that little tiny box in the bottom of my screen that you don't see. So now I'm professor, right? Dave Britton checking in. Glad you're here, man. Nick, hey Dave, I think you won a shirt. No, we're not. We didn't get that many. That's Dave. That's Dave number 4. So I don't have any shirts to give away. Well, I do, but they're XXL. Cade White, well, how many days? We're up to 4, Nick. 4 days, I believe. Caden, he says, howdy, Nick. Chris, the reason why I ask is I watch graveyard cars and most of them are totaled. Yeah. Yeah. They're still always going to have that salvage title. Saved on sales tax? Maybe. Robert, the trick to getting out of a salvage title used to be to register in Oklahoma or Louisiana where they don't have a salvage title, then transfer the title back to your state. Okay, I believe you. I never tried it, but I guess that would work. All right, Marshall. Nick, I used a paint stick and hit it with a hammer. No damage, not my idea. Saw it on YouTube somewhere. I cut one in half, and the thicker the better, I think. Yeah, it was my video. That was me. Yeah, shame on you, Nick. Yep. Nick, I was trying to keep your chat going, and I needed to know it. Ungrateful. Marshall Berry's method worked well for me. Yes. Nick, now I have to buy a dang stick. Yeah. Just a paint stick. Oh, you know what you can do, Nick? Just go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and they usually have a can there with, mixing paint sticks in it. You could probably sneak one out. Just don't tell them. Just say, I just need one. You got it. Save yourself 10 cents. Caden, to beat your 10 millimeter when it runs away. Okay. Winged Warrior. Winter left it on the 289 fastback Mike gave me. Super excited about getting the engine back in the Winged Warrior. Cool. Good. Pradkins. 2015 Nissan parked on a platinum or platinum. Let me see here. Nissan Pathfinder Platinum, hard times starting in the cold weather. Okay. Hard time starting in the cold weather. Typically, if, something like that, your battery is probably dying. I mean, that's the simple answer. Otherwise, your starter is dying. Check the battery, see how old it is, what your cold cranking amps are, because you got to have enough oomph to get it to crank over. Hopefully, it's as simple as a battery, because I think those Pathfinders have a weird starter location. But that would be, I would think that maybe the battery just doesn't have enough. If you could buy, if somebody put in the cheapest battery they could get, and it only has 500 cold cranking amps, that may not be enough. You may need the gold or the platinum level, where it has 700 or 800, 900 cold cranking amps. So I would look towards the battery. Caden, project cars, because having money is no fun. Nick, do you think Barry has a video on how to remove that trim? No. Chris, when do you say enough is enough? Well, depends on what you're asking. Nick says, I'm too soft to go to jail. No, thank you. Man, I'm telling you, you can get out of there with a paint stick. You could. Caden, someone hit the mailbox again. You need a bigger, tougher mailbox. Nick can weld you up a big, tough mailbox. I can tell you that. Nick can make you a beastly mailbox. And then when they hit that, they'll know it. Robert, paint mixing sticks are surprisingly expensive for scrap wood sticks. Every time when I go to PPG and I buy $500 worth of paint materials, they'll give me a whole box of paint sticks. Here. So that's all you got to do. Just spend your money on paint, and then I'll just throw in the sticks for free. Caden, I mean, you could probably widow. I think you mean whittle. I think he means whittle one. Jose, T5 or 4-speed top loader both seem hard to find used. Yeah, I'm sure they are, but you probably have a better chance of finding a T5. And if I'm going to put one in, I'll probably go with the T5 just for that overdrive setup. Chris, I got a super deal, 1,500 in this Formula now. I'll be 7,000 in after paint. Sounds like a good deal. Rusty's Mustang Garage in New York, where pre-72 cars don't have a title, just a registration document. Would a salvage title from another state follow that car through New York? That's a good question. I don't know for sure. That's a tough question to answer. Would a salvage title from another state follow that car through New York? That is a tough question because, like here in Georgia, if your car is older than 25 years, they don't care if you have a title or not. So um, they wouldn't have any information, I don't think, on the salvage. Well, they would if you try to register it, I guess. But I don't know for sure. That's a good question. I don't have an answer. Caden, did Fuel Pump Girl get it figured out? Sorry if you hear that. Only way I can remember people. I don't know for sure. Have not heard back. Let's hope so. Ty, Miata or 2JZ? Well, I don't know what a 2JZ is, so I'll go with Miata. Fast and Furious, how far away from getting paint on Jade? I'm going to say pretty close. If I can get most of what I need to get done tomorrow, I could probably get it in the second round of high build. I don't like to I like to let the paint cure, the primer dry out for a period of time. I know some people say, you can do it, you can paint it the next day. Well, you maybe can, but I like to wait and make sure everything's fully cured out. And so once that is in place and I get it all reblocked, then we'll go from there. But I would say probably I would hope in the next 2-3 weeks. The weather is getting good, and that's going to help a lot. Robert, on our Nissan, I always check the coil packs first. They were extremely bad in those years. They were all bad from the factory. I changed out a whole bunch of them. Okay, so that is an answer to the Nissan Pathfinder. Thank you for that, Robert. And that was for Pradkin, 2015 Nissan Pathfinder. So coil packs is what Robert is saying, and I would take his word for it. John Van Horn, the 65K code convertible is down to floor and doors holding it together. Thank you, Barry, for all your knowledge. Well, thank you for your comment. Nick, not from jail. I can't weld. I can't weld it. Let's see. Caden, first time he tore out a 4X R4 set. Oh, okay. 4x4, I guess. The R is just an extra letter you pumped in there. 4x4 set in a foot of concrete. Yeah. Hey, you got to be, put in a telephone pole. And put a little dinky mailbox on top of it. See if I can take that out. Chris, a charge, let's see, Pradkin's a charge battery, check if it's good. 1.5, use a test light for the starter fuse. I had to replace mine recently. Okay. B, check starter. Okay. A, charge battery, check if it's good. Then we got another A, 1.5 test light for the starter fuse. Okay. So that maybe that'll help as well. 64.5. I had the title website listed earlier. You skipped over the chat. I did? Oh man, where was it at? Because there's so many that pop up here on the side that it's hard to keep up with sometimes. So sorry about that. If you want to share it again, go ahead. Caden, second time they killed it with a mirror. Yeah. Pradkins, how are I used factory navigation in 2015 Nissan? I'm not sure what that question is. Crash Rider, I bought a pack of 10 high quality paint sticks at Home Depot for 98 cents. There you go, Nick. High quality. He bought a 10 pack of high quality paint sticks at Home Depot for 98 cents. 98 cents. Just 98 cents, Nick. 98. Caden, now I know who can weld up something for the end of the world. Yep. Bad Harry, salvage cars from the U.S. can't be rebuilt in Canada. Well, thank you for that. Ish, I'm from New York, and I believe that if you have a bill of sale, you may be able to register it. I'm not 100% sure. Dr. Boom, Hey, y'all. Sorry I'm late. Love the Jade updates. Thank you. Glad you're here. Glenn, you can buy a T5 new from MDL for about $2,500 brand new with how you want it set up. So that's from MDL. I don't know who MDL is, but so you get a brand new T5. Addy boy, I epoxy primered my 66 Mustang, but I waited for it to fully cure, and I was planning on seam sealing the drip rail. Do I have to sand it before, or can I just put it on there? Okay, so if you have it in epoxy, I would sand it, especially if you have waited. I usually wait a week or more before I do anything to it. You're gonna have to sand the rest of the car anyway before you put high build on it. But like in this case, what I did with Jade is I had epoxy on it, I put high build on it, and then I sanded. I sanded between coats of that, and then I scuffed the area where the seam sealer would go in a rain gutter, and then cleaned it out, and then went from there. So then it'll get a top coat with more high build, so it'll lock it in. So yeah, I would sand it just lightly, just enough to put some good scratches in it. Jose, ooh, paint on Jade. What color? Same, right? Yes. Gulfstream Aqua. Yes. Dave Britton, what? No Iron Man. You're not looking hard enough. You're not looking hard enough, Dave. You're going to lose your Dave points. There is an Iron Man. He is visible. And if you look hard enough, you'll find him. So I was waiting for somebody to ask about Iron Man. Thank you for that. Kate and Ty, this time it's going to be serious. Going to get a 4x4 piece of cured hedge. They'll know when they hit it. Yeah, I'll bet. Ty, just wondering, how do people come up with names of cars? Well, in the case of, this Mustang, I wanted a name that was relative to the color green because it's going to be Gulfstream Aqua, which is a blue-green variant. So we were trying to come up with a color that was also kind of a name, and Jade came about. For the Mystique Mustang that I did a few years ago, well, that was the owner picked out that name. Brooklyn Pony, the owner picked out that name. So that's, and that's kind of how it goes, I guess. Some like Dawn, his 65 or 6 Mustang that was on the Viewers Projects, he calls his Betsy. I call my little Honda Fit. I call it Scooter because I scoot around in that car. Dave Britton, Iron Man is block sanding Jade. Yeah, Iron Man is visible. He is visible right now. I can tell you, Iron Man is in this screen. Nick, serious question. I can look it up, but I'd like to talk to you. Do you have any videos on fiberglass fit up? Been looking at hoods, and I'm sure I know what to do, but knowledge is power. I have videos on fiberglass repairs. I don't know if that's going to answer your question or not, but I have some videos on fiberglass repairs that I have done. One was on a trailer, and I don't know if I did one on the dune buggy or not. I think I might have, but anyway, I do have some videos on fiberglass repairs. Caden, for those who haven't worked with Hedge, it's a royal pain. I don't even know what Hedge is, but it sounds like it. Caden, oh yeah, how's the chin spoiler coming? It's not. I haven't gotten that far. I will probably remount the fenders and the front valance and take another look at it to see if that helps. I'm not feeling very positive about it at this point. Nick, too much for the paint sticks. He's going to whittle one. All right. Johnny Van Horn, Barry, thank you for all the knowledge. Knowledge is power, and power is what makes it. What it takes for us to follow your lead. When I thought it was impossible, what I thought was impossible is possible. Thank you again, sir. You are welcome, John. Winged Warrior MDL, Modern Driveline. Okay, that's the name of the company for the transmission. Caden, or send a switch down, a wood one, not light switch. LOL. Yeah. Modern Driveline, great guys. I've got 2 Tremec TKOs from them. All right, good. So MDL seems to be the answer for the transmission question. And Glenn says Modern Driveline as well. Thank you. Harold, I just bought a 2008 PT Cruiser Turbo with 4,200,000 miles for loaded 5,000. What do you think? Okay, so 42,000 miles, I'm guessing. I mean, if it gets you around town and it drives and runs, good deal. You know, I'm not a fan of the PT Cruisers personally, but if it gets you around, then it's probably worth it. I mean, that's pretty low miles. Now, you know, one issue they have, and I don't know if it's that model or not, is the ignition switch. You know, and I did a video on replacing that ignition switch on one of those. Iron Man is on top of the gray cabinet. You found him. Bad Harry, how much is going price for a driver 67, 68 fastback in the U.S.? You know, that is a tough question. They're all over the map. I mean, I've seen, when you say driver, you know, you mean like is it all painted or does it need some work? You know, I've seen them, you know, 40, 50,000. I've seen them, you know, ones that need redone for 12, 13, 14 for really rough cars. So it's kind of all over the place. Oh, wait a minute. Nick, a switch. The Bronstang says no dice. Ty, I'm going to subscribe. Cool. Glad. The more the merrier. Dave, Bad Harry, too much is how much, Bad Harry? 65 Rust Bucket was purchased a month ago for 13.5, but numbers matching. I got to look at it, and it was a lot of work they inherited. Yeah. Dave, I thought that might be Iron Man, but he is out of focus. Need some readers. Crash Rider, get Nick's address, and I'll send him one. For the paint stick or the switch? Okay, so Caden, he says he sent me an email. Oh, okay. Email to a Chrome company. Cool. Thank you for that. C. Deasy, what is your favorite spray gun to use and why? Well, you know what? I really enjoyed those low-budget Black Widows that I bought from Harbor Freight. They seem to spray just fine. You know, I know you could buy a $2,000 or $1,500 spray gun, I guess, or you could buy a $50 spray gun. Is there that much value in one or the other? I don't know. I really don't know. Those spray guns, I got them on sale at Harbor Freight, $150. Normally they're like $2 something. I don't know, but they work. They spray out nice. I haven't had any issues, so I'm not going to point at, you know, a DeVilbiss or whatever and say go spend $900, $1,000 on this paint gun. I maybe there's some value to it. I don't know. I know it works for me. Nick, I'll get a paint stick. Thank you very much. Though Crash Rider, you're a good egg. 64, forget the title website. Sent it twice now. YouTube must be canceling me. Oh, okay. So it may not let you send the link or post it on as actually a link on here. You might have to like type it out, because if you try to copy and paste it, it may not let you do it. Winged Warrior made a mistake of buying a PT Cruiser new. It was a stick, non-turbo, blew the head gasket at 1,400 miles. All front suspension had to be replaced at 2,100 miles, and then the starter went out. Sold. Yeah, I mean, they're not the best cars, but if they run and drive, keep running. Robert, the better half has a PT Cruiser for her airport car. It's up to 140,000. After I replaced the cheap parts Chrysler put on it, it has been reliable. Only issue is the oil pressure switches were junk. So there you go. There's Caden. All right, Robert. Sorry, 110,000. I was corrected. I thought it was more. Yeah. Nick, I've heard good stuff about the Black Widows, not just from you, Barry. Yeah. I mean, it seems like a good gun. I don't know. Dave, hey, Barry, I was wondering if you have ever considered using one of those 4-barrel type fuel injection systems. Seems pretty interesting to me. I've considered it. I just haven't researched it enough to justify it. My Edelbrock works fine on my engine. You know, Nick is using the Holley Sniper. I've heard that's a good deal. Caden, where do you stand on carb or injectors, Barry? Yeah, you know, I like the idea of the fuel injection simply because it's convenient. You know, if everything's working fine, it's just like a modern car. You know, you hit the crank, fires up, and you're, you know, warming up a minute, you're ready to go. Carburetor, you know, I've done cold starts on my Mustang. You sit there and you pump the gas and you know, crank it over a few times until you get it to run. But I'm not itching to go buy an injection system. I'm old school. Carburetor works fine. I'm happy with it. But I'm not against the fuel injection setup. If somebody donated one, I'd probably use it. Just saying. Winged Warrior, I'm using a Quick Fuel Carb, a Holley brand. Okay. Robert, I plan to go fuel injection. I don't enjoy carbs anymore, especially with the inconsistent gas and widely changing weather here. That's a good point. That's a good point. Bad Harry, I will be using a 2016 Coyote engine. Talking about his 67. So he won't have a carburetor, I don't think. Cold coffee. Yum. I did something silly last night. And I'll say, you know, I admit that I make mistakes occasionally. Here, you know, I guess if you have a Kroger store and you buy gas, you know, buy your food at Kroger, you know, they'll give you a discount on gas, right? So we take advantage of that. And normally what we'll do is we'll drive my vehicle and my wife's vehicle, and I'll take 3 gas cans with me. I get the full benefit out of getting that gas at discount at Kroger. So my wife couldn't go last night. So I took my little Honda Fit, I took my gas cans, and I went and I filled up the car and filled up the gas cans. And then, you know, because of being in a confined space, I had the windows down. I come home, and we were celebrating our oldest son's birthday last night. So, you know, we had pizza and, you know, stuff. So I came home, and I wanted to get in the house so we could have our meal and stuff. And I took the gas cans out of the car, and I put them in my shed, and I could still, you know, smell the gas fumes. And I thought, well, I'll just leave the windows down, let the car sit. I'll put them up later. I didn't. So this morning I hear I'm laying in bed, and it's like, you know, 5 or 6 in the morning, and I'm hearing high winds and rain coming down, and I'm just like, oh, it's raining. Yay. Didn't think much of it. And then I get up this morning and take the dogs out, and I realized that I had all 4 windows down in my little Honda Fit. And there was some water inside the car today. There was some water. So I ended up starting the car and had the windows. Put the windows all but, you know, maybe an inch or so, and I turned the heater on high and I let it run. It probably ran half an hour or more, trying to burn out all the water that it got in the car. So note to self: put up your windows. Don't forget. Glenn Batts, old school car, old setup. Yeah. Caden, nice mug. Yeah. That's my old Army unit, as you can see right there. Thank you. Cyber Pro School. Why does my car not work? It does not run. It does not turn on at all. Gas is full. Engine is good. We need some more information. We need some more information. What kind of car? What is it doing? Is it actually, when you turn the key, does it turn the engine? Need some more information. That's kind of a wide open question. So let's see. Caden is also responding to that. Not getting fuel, dead battery, several different things. Cyber School. Okay, so we're having a side conversation going. Okay, Dave, if you have a dehumidifier put in the car so it does not get moldy smelling, works good. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Kristen Woods, another Silent Dave from California using my wife's account. Oh, Christy Woods. Silent Dave from California using my wife's account. That's Dave number 5. So Dave number 5 is here. CDZ, I have a 69 Mach 1 that I'm rebuilding and I'm currently replacing the core support. Want to be sure I get it in the right spot. How would you double check the fitment with no access to another car? Well, core support, let's just say, you've got a Dynacorn brand or whatever you're putting in. Really kind of hard to get them wrong. If the aprons are still there and the frame rails, you're pretty well set. Now, what you could do if I don't know if you've already cut the old one out or not, is take some measurements before you cut. So you find points on the firewall, put some marks or tape, measure out, find the backside or whatever of your core support, and make notes so you know where it was originally. If you've already taken it out, then you can go back to witness marks of where it overlapped your aprons. You could also, if you really felt necessary, you could clamp it in place. If the fenders were off the car, put the fenders back on and see where the holes line up. Stuff like that. You can identify where it goes based on other pieces interaction. So if that helps. But that's what I would suggest. If you haven't cut it out, measure right now and go from there. I don't know if you've cut out other pieces or not. So, and we have Dawn checking in with Betsy, getting warm in PDX. So Dawn, you've got some good feedback on your car. That was a fun. I really like the drag racing segment. That was cool. Now I assume that you have that on YouTube. I would assume. I think you mentioned that. So I don't know if you have other videos on YouTube or not. If you want to share those or not. But that was really cool for that segment, and I'm glad that we put all that together. So. Cyber School, maybe the car battery dead. It is a 2012 Ford Focus. Yeah, you could have a variety. If it's not doing anything, then you've got to start with the battery. Okay, there Caden's trying to help out. See if it has any lights on the inside of the car. So that's helping. Fast and Furious, I was very lucky. I bought my 69 Charger before the new movie came out and snagged off eBay $4,800. It's from Modesta, California. Paid $900 to get it shipped to Ohio. Cool. That sounds like a steal. $4,800. It's funny. We've talked about that. I may have mentioned this before. Not far from where we live, there is a pretty large property. And that property is adjacent to a grocery store, a chain grocery store, a chain automotive store, and then a chain like pharmacy type store. And so, so you got, this side has one building, and then it's only like 100 yards. There's another building, and then over here's another building. Well, there's a little bridge, and there's trees. And whenever you drive over this little bridge and you look into that area, there is a whole bunch of old cars. And I say whole bunch, there's probably 25 or 30 old cars in there. And I did some exploring one day. I didn't have permission. I'll just admit that. But I could see there was an opening, and I just kind of walked in, and there was some cool stuff in there. There was a the old style Ford like cab over van. I think there was a cab over style pickup van. The Econoline deal. There was an old like a 72 Galaxy 500, and there was an actual Charger in there. There's a 69, 68, 69 Charger in there. And it had a big block in it. And the car was painted kind of a cream color, right? But as I was looking around, I noticed on the driver's side, it had 01 underneath the gray, or the whatever that color was. Like the paint, it was coming off, and underneath it, it was orange, and it had an 01 on the door. Now, I don't think it was one of the cars from the movie or not, or TV series, but I was kind of shocked to see that Charger sitting there, and it actually had 01 on the door. Like I said, the paint was coming off of it. And I don't know how to get in touch with the guy or the people that own the property, but it's a shame that those cars are sitting there, and I'm worried somebody's going to, let's just crush them, get rid of them. There's some stuff in there that it is worth some money. I'll say that. Okay, DZ, thank you. Okay, says thank you. 64, Shane, restoring old cars like buying a 100-year-old graveyard. The more you dig, the more rot you find. That is a good observation. Caden. Okay. All right, Nick. Yeah, that was very, very cool. I like seeing parents sharing their car hobby with the kids. That's what it's all about. Yep, that was cool. Dave, question for Don. What year did he make his own shaker? So there's a question for you, Don, on the hood setup, the shaker setup. Don says, thanks. My YouTube channel is locked up. I'm going to start another one. Crash Rider. Joe Daddy, is that a bead of sweat that just popped out of your forehead? 5 Daves. No. Pause. Forgot the name of the eBay store where you bought your side marker lights. For the ones that I bought? I was just looking at that the other day. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find that box. Because, you know what? I know where it's at. I just put it in the drawer. It was Magic Valley Mustang. Magic Valley Mustang. And they have let's see. The email looks like mvmustang@cableone.net. So Magic Valley Mustang was the name of the company that I got the side marker lights. And their website is magicvalleymustang.com. Hope that helps. Let's see. Hold on, we're getting some side stuff going on. Mark, can I send a pic of a 68 Mustang wheel arch and get all your opinions on best way to fix? Yeah, send it to my email. Send it to my email. So there's my email at the bottom of the screen. So if you send it to that, I can pull it up and put it on, and we can go from there. So jdaddysgarage@gmail.com. Okay, let me go back to the comments. Harvey, the drag racing segment was my favorite part. Also, great video. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy that. That was a lot of fun. I guess I didn't know you could have a passenger in your drag car, but it was a street. I understand it was, kind of a street car, but when you raced against that, whatever it was, Comet or something, I don't know, he had a roll bar and a helmet, but he must. I know it's based on time. As far as what kind of safety stuff you have to have. All right, so Caden, yeah, glad you help him out. Hopefully we can get get his car running. Let's see, Roan, I have a chance to pick up an NOS CMC Cobra kit car, body and chassis made in the mid-90s. I know the company had problems, wondering if the kit's any good. Now, that's a good question. I'm not familiar with that company, so I can't say for sure. Does anybody else have experience with CMC Cobra kit car, body and chassis? Don Thompson, Dave, Britain, the scoop is a factory piece, as is the air cleaner assembly. I did have to make the vacuum motors when the OEM failed. So I know he was asking, I'm not sure, he says, what year did he make his own shaker? So yeah, I guess he's asking what year you added that onto the car. Cyber School Joe Daddy, you're my favorite car YouTuber. I am currently subscribed. Cool. Glad you're here. You're welcome, Pause. CDZ, what's your favorite step on your projects, i.e. bodywork, suspension, paint, electrical, etc.? My favorite is just doing sheet metal. Cutting, welding, grinding. Believe it or not, I love it. Believe it or not, I actually enjoy grinding spot welds. All the sheet metal stuff is my thing. Like Peterson Restorations, that's what he shows on his videos, and that's what I want to get to. I believe in the future is doing just the sheet metal work for stuff. I don't mind wiring. I like doing body work. I actually do like doing filler work and sanding and all that stuff. I don't mind doing primer. Paint is not my highest satisfaction. I get stressed out over paint. It's just because when something goes wrong when you're at the paint stage, then it's like you're starting over. That's why I stress out over paint. And I see Mark. Hold on a second, Mark. If you sent that, it has not shown up. So it's Joe Daddy's Garage. If you didn't see all that, Joe Daddy's Garage at gmail.com, because it's not showing in my queue. So you may have to send it a second time if you send it to a different something other than that. But yeah, sheet metal work, body work. Suspension. I'm okay with that. I'm a mechanic by trade, so mechanical things are fine with me. But I really do get a kick out of doing sheet metal and that sort of thing. Caden says he thinks the smoke detector is dying. Okay. Caden, just saw a BA commercial for garage floors, switch tracks flooring. Might be nice for the shop, Barry. Might be. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that company. Okay. I have an email from, I think it's Ish. Is it Ish? Hold on a second. Let me pull up this this picture. I'm guessing it's Ish. Sent me this. This is the whoops. Let me pull Caden off there for a second. There's the DeSoto 46 Mopar. DeSoto. That's a beast of a vehicle right there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me go back up here. Yeah, Mark, I still don't see it, so I don't know where it's at. Shane, I'm out till next Monday. Thanks, Barry. You're welcome. Glad you were here. Cyberschool says bye. Have a good day. All right. Don Thompson. Oh, okay. I installed the hood scoop around 76. It's not a shaker, for your information. So 76 was the answer for that. Bad Harry Peterson seems to be selling the shells real fast and easy. Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I'd rather be doing that. You know, I could build somebody a fastback. All I need is a pair of door hinges. Nick, I like doing the metalwork myself. I hate the filler and paint part, so I guess I don't hate body work, like I said last time, but certain parts don't agree with me. Yeah, I mean, I get a certain satisfaction out of making panels fit or using filler if I need to make things smooth. I'm kind of excited right now on these panels and where they're at because I put so much time into making everything smooth prior to putting primer on that it's really not taking very much effort to get these panels ready to go. I did have to add a small amount of filler to the front valance, but a lot of that, like there were some pinholes up here on this new section. So and then on this side, just a very small, shallow spot that I missed, but that was it. The rest of it, you can see I've already sanded all this. That's the only filler I've added. On the rock guard, a little bit of filler because it was some pinholes. So it was nothing really bad. And then the rear valance, same deal. There was a little issue up here on this side. Everything else, a little bit right there under the license plate thing, bracket. And that's pretty much it. So pretty excited about how these pieces are turning out. And I think, the fenders should be great, especially since I've done got the emblems taken care of, so I can work those out the rest of the way now. But pretty excited about this car. I mean, it's going to look, it better look darn good. Caden's saying nice. He's talking about the Mopar. CDZ, I also have a question about your booth you use. Is it home built? And if so, how would I go about building one for myself? I think yours is bad. Yeah, bad A. Yeah. I actually have a video on the paint booth. I think I have at least one video, maybe two. And I think it's, I think if you search my videos, it would say paint booth. There's a gnat. If you search my videos and said, typed in paint booth or whatever, it would come up. Now, it's just a room, basically. It's just a room. There are two windows that, blow out on the back wall. And then I have some paint booth, paint shop quality filtration system mounted. So there's filters that filter the air and stuff like that. But, it's not very complicated. I am trying to improve upon it. I would like to make it a pressurized booth so that there's air. I actually have on the back wall of the shop, I've cut 2 holes, and I probably should have at least 2 more where I have 20-inch by 20-inch filters. And the idea is I would like to put a fan behind those so that air from the shop, the main shop, is blowing into or through the wall and pressurizing the paint area. The reason for that is if I have my fans blowing out, it sucks air through my entry door in the back. It sucks all the stuff off the floor or whatever from the main shop and pulls it in there. It also, because my main entry door is all the way at the end, let's say, and I have the 2 windows on the back, the air doesn't travel very well. So it comes in at the front door and goes slightly sideways and then goes out. So the far away corner, that takes longer for it to dry. If I had put the fans pushing, then it kind of forces air across the car and out the windows. So anyway, Nick, I've been trying to get better at metal finishing. It's pretty rewarding when it goes right and pretty disheartening when it goes wrong, which is usually the case. Yeah, I mean it's definitely not easy. I know I get people to tell me you make it look easy. Well, what you're really seeing is experience. Just how it is. Robert, I'm all for building assembly jigs. Yeah. I'm up for that. Rick, hey Barry, I'm late to the party tonight. Or late to the party, working late tonight. Okay, glad you're here. Bad Harry, you do fantastic work, Barry. I'm afraid to take my car to anyone. That's why I do all work myself. Yes, I'm the same way. Nick says, I still say you should suffer and paint my car for me. Yee. I don't know, man. It sounds like a lot of pressure. Dave, I was nervous as heck about the metalwork on Winged Warrior. It was Barry that trained me to have enough knowledge and confidence to get it done. His videos are sweet. Well, thank you for that. Nick, that's Barry. What a guy. All right, guys, come on now. Rick Gain, what is your opinion on inflatable paint booths? I think they're a great idea. I really do. I don't know if I want to buy one or not, but I do like the idea. It's all contained. I have not researched them very hard, but I think it's a great idea. Robert, if you don't have room for a paint booth or can't afford to build one, the really big inflatable ones are around $1,000 and have a paint mixing room as well. My neighbor wants to buy half of one for me. Well, yeah, that actually sounds like a great idea. I have not researched them, but maybe I should. Maybe I'd end up with better results if I did that. Willard, looking for my first pickup truck crew cab. What do you suggest? Well, I guess the first question is, what's your budget? Anymore, the trucks are all pretty well equal, in my opinion. They all have the same kind of options. I've driven a lot of Chevys. I like Chevys and GMCs, just always have, and so I would default to one of those. But probably anything is going to be comparable to the next. And if you're looking at a used market, it depends how far back you want to go, but I think they're all pretty comparable. But by default, I'm a fan of Chevys and GMCs. Again, I'm not hardcore Ford. I'm a car person, car guy. I like them all, so I'm not going to say I only buy Fords. Dawn saying paint equals nerve-wracking. Yes. Yep. Willard, use something for yard work, budget $20,000. Well, use something for yard work. So when you say yard work, are you just talking about basic yard work, or are you talking heavy duty stuff where you might need a 3/4 ton? I can't say again, this is your best choice, half ton, 3/4 ton. If you've had something in the past that you liked, or a brand that you liked, then maybe that'll help as well. But do some reviews, read reviews on those things, because a lot of times I'll do that. I'll research, get reviews on different brands, and that helps me make a decision. Which one has had more recalls? Which one has had, more transmission issues? Stuff like that. That's usually your best bet. CDZ, have you ever had the chance to autocross? No, but I would love to. I really would. I would get a kick out of that. Bad Harry, there's a guy on YouTube painting parts in an inflatable paint booth, and he blows a breaker, and the booth was deflating. He caught it in time. That's the scary part. That's the only scary part. What happens if power goes out? Then what? I mean, that would be really bad to have that thing collapse on your wet paint. Dave, the 67, 68 Ford short box pickups are in the same money range as fastback Mustangs now. It's amazing. Yeah, you know, I've been looking at that on like Facebook Marketplace as well. I have somebody looking for one of those trucks, and they've sent me links. They're out of state, and they're sending me links that they found in Georgia that are like, hey, you want to go look at this truck for me, or you want to go buy this truck for me? And now that I'm researching it a little more, yeah, the price is going up, and it's kind of crazy. Nick, I've always wanted to build one of the unibody Ford pickups. Hey, paint my car and I'll let you autocross it. I don't think you'd want me to autocross your car, Nick. Fast and Furious, I did all the body work on my 67 Camaro, painted the door jambs and inside trunk, but when it came down to painting the whole car, I chickened out and paid $1,200 to have someone spray for me. Yeah. Yep. CDZ, thanks so much. It's really inspiring to get after it after watching your videos. Yeah. Well, I'm glad, you know, keep at it. Oh, let's see. Did I get an email finally? Nope. Huh. So I don't know what happened to that other email that it was trying to send me. But anyway, we're getting to the end of the line here. It's almost 2 hours, and I think my throat's starting to go. Dave, professional paint jobs for classics and running are running 10 to 30,000 these days. Nick's gonna have to sweeten the potberry. Man, 10 to 30,000? I don't charge nearly enough. Mark, emails keep bouncing back to me. Well, see, you must not be sending it to the right address. Let me type it in. So it's right there, Joe Daddy's Garage at gmail.com. Yeah, Dave, I'm not charging enough for paint jobs or for anything that I do. That needs to change. Bad Harry can't beat a proper paint booth. Yes, very true. Rick, yeah, years back, Stacy David did a nice job building a 6.7 C10 with a 572 in it. Yep. That was Copperhead, wasn't it? Am I right? Was it Copperhead? Let me know if I'm right. David, yes. Hey, Joe, it's been a while. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'll sweeten the pot. Oh, yes, I will. Don, I used to have access to paint booth at my friend's body shop. He'd let me shoot on Sunday. Lost him last year, so I'm on my own. Sorry about that. Mark, yes, Copperhead. I got it right. I got it right. Okay, but I don't know what's going on with the email thing, and I'm sorry. I don't know why it's bouncing back, but I'm going to end up calling it a night. It's been 2 hours, and I'm gonna have to call it. So Rick says yes, Copperhead now owned by a guy in Texas, I guess Texas, that takes his grandkids for ice cream in it. Yeah, that's what you need a big block hot rod truck for. All right. So anyway, I'm looking forward. I'm gonna have another video out. I'll probably have 2 out this week. They'll be a little out of sequence, probably. I'm gonna probably do one for Wednesday on the emblems. I'm trying to point on the emblems on the fenders, and then I'll have another video dealing with primer, probably on Friday. And again, there'll be 2 versions of that. There'll be the longer version on Patreon, and then the YouTube version, but still good information. And then I have one question I want to answer quick. Ken Gilmore, Kenneth, what should I coat the insides of the outer rocker once I remove the inside rocker? Um, I mean, you could coat it with a variety of things. I've done videos on that stuff. I did one where I sprayed in some like chassis saver, and I did another one where I actually sprayed a Eastwood's frame coater. So I have videos on that that may help you. But chassis saver or something like Pour 15 would be good. Okay. Yeah. Dave Burton says, us Daves have a private meeting after. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'll have a couple videos going, and I have another Viewers Project video coming out next week. And I think that's going to be it. That's going to be it. Oh, and by the way, whoever left these sunglasses here, I still don't know who they belong to. I've checked with everybody I know. These aren't mine. These showed up last week. I mentioned on Thursday, laying on my desk, my bench here in the garage. They're not mine. I don't know where they came from, and it's kind of disturbing me. So anyway. Oh, Jeff Deal says, if you ever end up in Chicago, I have an autocross car for you to use. It's a Fox body. Cool. All right. That's it. We'll be back on Thursday at 3 in the afternoon. And I'm glad everybody was here. Had a good time. We had some good conversation, good comments, good questions. And hopefully we answered some of those questions for everybody. But that's going to be it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.